You know, our next guest is the head coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs, former head coach of the Detroit Red Wings, and head coach of Canada's gold medal-winning men's Olympic hockey team. But he's also something else, a mental health advocate. And with Bell Let's Talk Day around the corner, we're happy today to have Mike Babcock joining us from the Toronto studio downtown. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Morale.
Let's talk a bit about something you're involved in, the Neutral Health Project. Tell me about it.
Well, it's just something that myself and Dr. Didi Maltman decided to set up in Saskatchewan. We just felt the healthcare system wasn't giving parents a good enough opportunity to look after their children the way they wanted. We were suffering from mental illness, so we got involved and have a fundraiser that's ongoing. But you know, it's interesting. I lost a couple friends a few years back, and my wife and I educated ourselves a little bit about mental health issues, and here we are today. Got to know Michael Landsberg, Clara Hughes, and now we're doing what we can to get the word out there that it affects so many Canadians.
You know, it's become more of a conversation these days than it ever used to be. People aren't as worried about bringing it up and having those conversations now, but obviously there's still a way to go. When you look at the situation where you're working to improve it in Saskatchewan, in Saskatoon, what do you think is still missing?
Well, I just think the biggest thing we can do is continue to talk. I love what's going on across the country this year for Bell Let's Talk Day with having so many Canadian university athletes involved. When you get the message out at the university level, I know myself with 3 children in university, how powerful that step is in your life. And I also know through my children and talking to them about their friends and themselves is how many mental health issues there are. So just the idea that you can live a normal, healthy life, suffering from mental illness, is available to you. So I think it's important people understand whether you need someone to talk to, whether you need a good doctor to talk to, whether you need medication, those things are all out there, and you can live a good life even if you suffer in this way.
You work, of course, with some of the highest caliber athletes in the world, and some of them come to the game at a very young age. There's a lot of pressure they have to deal with right off the bat. Do you have to deal with that, or have you started to deal with that differently since you've become more aware of mental health challenges?
Well, I think 2 things happened for me is that my kids became of age and were athletes themselves and weren't living in my house and were going through some things. And so that makes you a better coach and more understanding. The second thing I'd say is once I got to know and educated myself about mental health and understood it affects so many people and how it affects you, then you become more compassionate and a better listener and have more understanding of the impact of what's going on.
What's your next move as far as your project goes?
Well, I think the big thing for us here is I'm not really worried about our project, worried about January 25th and Bell Let's Talk Day. It's important we all embrace not only the fundraising part, but getting the message out there, understanding that so many Canadians are affected. Like I said, 1 in 5. That means 4 to 5 people in my own dressing room right here in Toronto. So it's important we educate ourselves and are compassionate about listening and talking to people.
All right, Mike Babcock, sir, thank you for joining us. Thanks for telling us about the Neural Health Project as well. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me on. Have a great day.
You too.